Some breaking news here. Donald Trump has just revoked the Equal Opportunity Employment Executive Order signed by LBJ back in 1965. From what I understand, from what I was reading up on the articles and everything, is that he's trying to basically going to start cutting DEI hires, employees, and whatnot out of the federal government.
You have set us 100 years back. It is going to be a long 4 years. Y'all do not know what you guys have done.
Trump should not hate Africans. If anything, if they are not his brothers, they are his ancestors. So he should love them and show them hospitality other than insult them and declare them to be lazy and to be poor.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this channel once again. It's underscore Kisaka is my YouTube channel name, and I'm so happy to have you back on this channel. If you're new to this channel, do me the favor of subscribing to this channel, liking this video. You can leave your sweet comment below this video, and also you can share this video out. In today's video, guys, I'll be looking at some of the reactions of people of color or the black people whom are reacting to the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. He has taken his time in the office and he has started by signing off several executive bills. One of the bills is known as, seeks to revoke the 1965 Civil Rights Act, or the Equal Employment Opportunities executive bill that was effected in 1965, and he is revoking it. These are some of the reactions from the people of color before we come back and shed more comments on the same.
For every black Republican, I really want y'all to take a long look in the mirror and ask, do you love the color of your skin? Because y'all allowed this man in office. It's something that our ancestors fought for, got beat for, got dogs on them, got sprayed with water hoses, got hung for. They fought for these rights for us, and y'all squandered them away for money. Y'all squandered them away just to be closer to white people. What a disgrace y'all are to our community. My mom wasn't even born when this came through. My mom wasn't even born. And you mean to tell me y'all let this man take this from us? Something our ancestors fought for? Y'all really let that shit happen? If you are black and you voted for this man, go play in traffic. Because this shit right here, this should have never happened. Everybody is about to suffer for this. Everybody. Everybody. Race, color, religion, national origin. This man is making America white again before Jim Crow, and we told y'all that. We told y'all he is trying to take us back to Jim Crow. And y'all sat there and y'all said, I don't want DEI. I don't want an advantage. DEI is not a advantage. It's just to put us in the room because we're just as qualified as any other white man. And y'all let this go down.
So he did it. He just revoked the Civil Rights Act of 1965, put in place by President Lyndon B. Johnson. So they can discriminate against race, gender, sexual orientation, religion. They could do all of that. They have the right to do it. Him getting back in office was not for the greater good. He came back, and he came back with a vengeance. If you are a person of color and if you voted for him because you can resonate with him, you can sit here and you're gonna get low gas and groceries, which when that goes into place, it'll be under Biden's tax plan. I just want to let you know that when he was doing real estate, people that look like me and you, he didn't want to serve us. So everything that our ancestors fought for, everything that Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Shirley Chisholm, Jesse Jackson, everything that they fought for has been dismantled because you didn't want a woman to run this country. So thank you. Thank you. You have set us 100 years back. It is going to be a long 4 years. Y'all do not know what you guys have done. It wasn't just about the illegal immigrants that's in this country. It wasn't about that. You know, he came back and he came back with a vengeance. And you guys just gave it to him. Right there. So thank you.
This is your reminder. We are resting. Some of you may need to unplug completely from social media and the news because, as I have said, we are under spiritual attack. The goal is to break us spiritually, and some of y'all are already folding. Executive orders cannot change laws that Congress has made. So that order is not revoking the Civil Rights Act of 1965. What is happening is at the federal level. So federal employees and contractors. Is that bad? Yes. Is it as bad as y'all are crashing out for it to be? No. The most important thing for you to do right now is to take care of yourself. Please take some deep breaths in through the nose, hold for 4, and out through the mouth. Recenter yourself and ground yourself. Everything is going to be okay. Do we have work to do? Yes. Are we resting from solving other people's problems? Also, yes. But we must, and I mean must, get our spiritual house in order and regulate our emotions, regulate our nervous systems. That will help us learn to respond and not react. My visceral reaction was to crash out when I first saw it too, but because I have regulated my emotions and my nervous system, I did some homework and found out what really is going on.
This is why people stopped talking to y'all while you were excommunicated from your family and friends, because we knew this was going to happen. Donald Trump has revoked the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1965. Make America Great Again always meant a return to open racism, sexism, and other forms of bigotry. You were either too stupid to know that, or this is what you wanted all along. In either case, you're trash. The order prohibited discrimination in hiring and employment based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. His voters wanted this all along because they were told many times that this would happen. That's why they're all grouped together and we have a zero tolerance policy for them. They knew they were wrong about it because they were crashing out, but we stand by what we said. We don't want you here. You can't hang out with us. The presidential message says that industries and institutions have adopted and actively used dangerous, demeaning, and immoral race and sex-based preferences under the guise of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion. So-called diversity, equity, and inclusion, because everything was so fair prior to 1965. I know his voters are dumb and he's trying to rewrite history, but they can't be that dumb. He calls it ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity, back before black people had rights. It's not a meritocracy when black people can't vote and they're not allowed to hold certain positions. Restoring merit-based opportunity means restoring white supremacy. I'm just going to say it now because TikTok's suppressing me anyway. You know who benefited from the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1965? Katherine Johnson. A black woman and mathematician at NASA who wasn't allowed in the same meeting rooms as white men and couldn't put her name on her research papers. Is this the kind of merit-based opportunity he's talking about? To my friends wanting to know what to do next, be disruptive and vocal because every battle counts. We're the ones who have the power, not them.
So what I learned today is a lot of people, a lot of y'all you don't care about your history. You don't care about the people that made sacrifices for you to be able to be where you are today, to be able to do the things that you're able to do, to be able to have the opportunities that you're able to have. You don't care about it. I just got off the phone with my mom, who just got off the phone with her mom, my grandmother, who she had to console because she was boo-hoo crying, and my mom didn't realize why. My grandmother was crying because she had saw the news that the orange man in charge had just put an executive order to repeal the Equal Opportunity Employment Act of the Civil Rights Act of 1965. Now, I understand before that executive order was placed, that stood for over 50 years. An employer could literally tell you to your face, well, I'm sorry, I don't hire black people. I don't hire women. And no consequences. They could literally be just that discriminatory towards people. And the reason that it upset my grandmother so much is because she remembers my great-grandmother and great-grandfather, her parents, the sacrifices, the marching, the hard working, the speaking out and trying to help change, trying to help get these opportunities for us, and the sacrifices these people made to their own families, not being around their families sometimes because they were fighting for the good of us as a people, as a whole. And all this time later to see what you might think is trivial, what you might think is small, to see something that they worked, sacrificed, clawed, and scratched for be taken away by the stroke of a pen. And all because a few of us, not saying a lot of us, a few of us, because it was 92% and 80%. But every one of us counts. And a few of us decided a little bit of money was more important than preserving our history, than preserving the things that we fought for, to be able to have opportunities in this place. It's just sad, man. It's sad that, the further we get away from those times, the further our elders pass away and leave this world, and we aren't taught the things we need to be taught, and the knowledge isn't passed on to us. The further we get from that, the more and more easily it's going to be for us for things to roll back and go back in that direction. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but hey, man, just gotta keep grinding, keep fighting a good fight, and look for better days, work towards better days. But man, just hearing my mom and knowing that hurt my grandmother like that it's crazy, man. Yeah, we gotta do better. As a whole, we gotta do better.
Some breaking news here. Donald Trump has just revoked the Equal Opportunity Employment Executive Order signed by LBJ back in 1965. Now, this was a bedrock policy. This was highly impactful back in the 1960s. Women and men of color were trying hard to have careers in the government, and this helped them. From what I understand, from what I was reading up on the articles and everything, is that he's trying to basically going to start cutting DEI hires, employees, and whatnot out of the federal government. Now, a lot of people are upset about this, and a lot of people also need to understand why he's doing this. And I am not saying I agree with it. However, this is basically him trying to get rid of the stigma of, hey, because you're trans or you're black or you're gay or you're a woman or you're colored of any kind of an ethnicity, that you are a diversity hire, which in and of itself is insulting to people of different creeds, sexes, religions, backgrounds, races, to sit there and say, I'm hiring you because of this, because they want to use you like a mascot to bring other people in to, following them, voting for them, supporting them because they go, hey, look, I've got the trans person, the black person, the woman, that kind of thing. That I disagree with that ever being okay, because that's just as bigoted as being against those people because you're just using them as bait. This is still not the best thing because he's going to start firing people who have probably been doing their jobs and they're just minding their own business. So I disagree with the fact that he is going to be rolling that back, because I feel like that's going to set a further precedent that it's okay, and that I'm worried that other businesses and companies are going to try to follow this. Not saying that they legally could, because this is, as far as I'm aware, it only affects the federal government. So I don't want to fearmonger here, but let me know what you guys think down below, because some of these executive orders and rollbacks he's doing are very, very, very jarring, to say the least.
Thank you for looking at these videos. You can see the reactions of people of color or the black people. This bill, this act was effected so many years ago, and it was in place to help in protecting most of the Americans, especially people of color, from discrimination, that is race discrimination, gender discrimination, religious discrimination. And now that Donald Trump has revoked this bill, it means that an employee or different employment avenues will just look at you into the eye and tell you that we don't hire black people in this organization, or we can't hire you because you are a female gender, or sort of other discriminations. And especially it is said that this signing of the revocation of these executive orders is highly expected to affect people who or the federal employees and people who are on contract in different federal departments. And there are some who are saying that it does not revoke, as you have seen from the video. The lady, one of the lady has said that, but most of the people are saying that if the federal employees are affected with this kind of bill, it will trickle down to other employers, and they are going to affect this such kind of policies. People of color who voted for Mr. Trump, they voted on the basis of economic promises, the promises that were being made, that their life was going to be bettered by such. But with such kind of executive orders, recently I also saw the executive order of the United States moving away out of the World Health Organization, and this does not only affect the blacks, or rather the people of color in the United States, also worldwide. Like in African countries, there are some countries that really depend on some of these aids, like the US aid. And affecting of such kind of orders, yes, they are saying that the MAGA, they Make American Great Again kind of stuff, but it is in effect, it also affects the Africans. According to Trump, it is said that he is doing this to protect the interests of the Americans. But if going into such a kind of an order, most of the jobs will be lost in federal, and who knows, maybe some of the people or the people of color might be just told into their faces that we don't need you anymore, or we don't need your services anymore. Also, maybe there could be unfair packages or no employment to people of color, or maybe ladies, etc. Also, there was one thing that Trump did some years ago, and it has affected some people up to this date. There was a time that he said and called some African nations and Haiti, that is in the Caribbean, as countries in shithole areas, something of the sort. And this didn't go down well with some of the people. There's a video that I want to share of one of the doctors in Africa, in particular Kenya. They have decided to come up with a PIT latrine with the statue of Donald Trump, to try and show out the kind of things that leaders should not just be opening their mouth and talking things that is not right or in a discriminatory manner. Also, in the video, the doctor, he's saying that people should. He's a doctor and also is a prolific writer. People should use their art, especially musicians, artists, to revolt or to speak against any discrimination that they feel it is facing them.
Donald Trump was put here by Dr. Milo. We hope you help him to change.
Donald Trump talked about, community from shithole nations. And since I'm an individual within the nation, I thought maybe I should do a commemoration with that. I called it, having the Trump's statue and then calling it a shithole because behind it there is a PIT latrine to represent exactly what he said. I don't think Donald Trump is going to behave in it's not going to be different from what he was because he's the same man. He might have changed a little bit, but it's the same thing as I have said elsewhere. A leopard can change its place. It remains still a leopard. So Donald Trump is still the Donald Trump.
Dr. Mailu is an interesting, prolific writer who eats only once in a day and has had his house rep for 50 years.
This is the structure I did that and has taken a very long time.
PIT latrines are very common in Africa.
This is, and you there, so it's a real thing. This is it. This is the PIT latrine. It's behind the sculpture at the back. If there is any instrument which should be used now to fight against racism or what, should be music, writing and painting or whatever, or singing.
Dr. Mailu is a prolific writer from Kenya, Africa, having written around 60 books in his name in English language, Swahili language, and his local dialect known as the Kamba language. He is 86 years of age. So cheers guys, thank you for staying tuned to this channel, subscribing to this channel and always supporting this channel.